Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Eric, and welcome back to a brand new video here on the Bioshock Hub. Now, today, we're going back to some more good old cut content from the Bioshock series, and this is going to be a two-parter. The first one, which you're watching today, is going to be on 10 levels that were removed, and the one that you'll be watching in a day or two will be on 10 removed characters. That way, you guys get your dose and your fix of cut content from the Bioshock series. So I do hope you guys are going to enjoy those two videos. And with that being said, let's hop into it. Oh, and one quick thing. You're going to see a screenshot on screen right now. I decided to use the new YouTube Creator Studio to actually see who watches my videos and who's subscribed versus who's non-subscribed. And there's about 60 something percent of people that watch my videos who aren't subscribed. So if you would kindly hit that subscribe button, it would mean a lot. Anyways, again, let's get into the video. Now, very quickly before we get to the number 10 spot, if you guys missed the last video on the 10 removed levels from the Bioshock franchise, you can click the card at the top right hand corner of the screen or wait till the video is over and it'll be at the end screen of the video. All you have to do is click on either one and it'll take you directly to that previous video. There's a lot of interesting and cool levels on that video and I would highly recommend checking it out. Now for number 10, we have Arcadia from Bioshock 1. So let's start it off, as I mentioned, with good old Arcadia. Now players will notice a collapsed passageway at the end of the Arcadia Glens. This was originally another way to the Langford Research Laboratories, but it was changed for unknown reasons, more than likely either space on the game or due to the lack of budget. That's just my personal opinion. The park would have had two entrances in the farmer's market, the one at Tree Farm, which remained in-game, and another in the Rolling Hills, which would have led directly into the wine cellarry of Worley Winery. And if you guys know that location, it has one of my favorite Easter eggs within Bioshock, and that is the Pac-Man Easter egg. But again, I digress. Also, earlier versions of this level had Ryan killing the flora in Arcadia in stages as the player progressed to each new area, instead of just straight up killing all of the trees and plants at one time. So I think that would have added a little bit more of a dynamic feature to the game, seeing all the things die around you as you progress through the story. But I think they did a good job with just completely killing everything outright and you having to actually fix that problem. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. In today's number 9 slot, I'm going to give you a 2-for-1. First, it's going to be the Footlight Theater, and then second, it's going to be the Farmer's Market, and just the changes that they made to both of those levels. So the Footlight Theater was not originally a theater at all, but merely the burnt out shell of a building. Since the game developers, Irrational, had so many assets from the Fort Frolic level left, it was decided that they would change the room into a small theater space to give the Big Daddy and Little Sister a literal theatrical introduction, which, in my opinion, was very well done. This was the place where the player would originally get the revolver from the thuggish splicer attacked by the Big Daddy, but it was removed and moved to the Kashmir Restaurant's entrance so the player would get the gun much earlier on in their playthrough. Next up is the Farmer's Market. The Farmer's Market was first built twice as large as its final version in Bioshock 1, with two symmetrical halves and long corridors for the various stalls. The level ultimately had to be cut in half for navigational and production reasons, and the market's corridors were separated using doorways. The Rapture Metro station found in Arcadia was first placed in the southeast corner of the Farmer's Market, where a gene bank can now be found. It was moved to the Rolling Hills when the developers decided a trek back after healing the forest was boring, redundant, and quite frankly, unneeded, and I agree with them on that. The hanging corpses found in the crawl space in one of the fruit stalls in the main market were leftover ideas from a serial killer loose in Rapture during the fall. So that kind of piques my interest. I'm not sure what it is about a serial killer being let loose during the Rapture Civil War that interests me, but I think it would be kind of a cool idea. You have all of these splicers, you have all of the regular people that are trying to hide from the splicers, and then you have just this random serial killer that you could potentially come across during the game, adding another boss or another type of enemies. So I think that one would have been a cool addition. Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So next up, for the number 8 spot, we're going to be moving over to Bioshock 2, and we're going to be talking about Pauper's Drop. Pauper's Drop was going to feature a garbage dump. There was also an idea for a guy who would be vending batteries and fresh drinking water at the drop. Some of these items can still be seen in the stalls of the Skid Row Marketplace. There was also scripted rooms dubbed the Dream Rooms, where the player would experience ghostly memories or flashbacks before the idea was cut. So ultimately, like the ghosts in Bioshock 1 that you see, and the ghosts in the Bioshock 2 trailer. Pauper's Drop would have also featured dead Big Daddies placed in various locations as a way to show Grace Holloway's hatred towards all protectors following Eleanor's abduction. The Big Daddies are an essential part of Sophia Lamb's Atom Gathering plan, obviously, and the player still has to gather in Pauper's Drop. So in the final game, Grace's vendetta is focused squarely and solely on Subject Delta. The Sinclair Deluxe, which we will be talking about soon, had 2 dead Big Daddies lynched and strung up from the upper floor balconies in the atrium. The district's Atlantic Express train station had a corpse hanging above a bonfire and labeled Baby Snatcher, which is a nickname Grace gives to Subject Delta all throughout the playthrough until you finally meet her. One was by a collapsed tunnel near the Fishbowl Diner with a sign reading, "Your kind ain't welcome," placed next to it. The final one is still present in the game, however, the sign is missing. So, the scene looks like the result of an accidental cave-in. The hanging Big Daddies in the Sinclair Deluxe can still be seen in one of the loading screen images at the start of the level of Pauper's Drop. So, there's a lot to take in there, but I still think the addition of seeing all of these Big Daddies scattered would have been pretty cool. So for the number 7 slot, I'm actually going to give you guys another 2 for 1, and that's for one simple fact. Every time I upload a cut content video on my channel, you guys seem to absolutely love it. I love just reading your comments, I love responding to your comments, I love seeing your suggestions. I just love the support, and you guys have been supporting me for so long now. This is a small way for me to give back to you guys, just to give you more content. And don't worry, a lot more content is in the works, so stay tuned for that. But in at the number 7 spot, we're going to be talking about both the Sinclair Deluxe and Siren Alley. So let's start off with the Sinclair Deluxe. The Hanging Big Daddy was replaced late in the development process with blue morpho butterflies fluttering around butterfly feeders. There were at least 2 versions of the atrium with different assets in the center by the elevator in place of the sandbags that are present in the current game. One version had a round bench, which can still be seen in the above mentioned loading screen images, and they'll be sourced in the description below under the source tab, so you guys can check them out for yourself, and that is at the start of the Pauper's Drop level. Another iteration had a deluxe playground, consisting of an impromptu slide and jungle gym play area set up for a young Eleanor beneath the hanged corpse. Again, you guys can see the screenshots. Just go down in the description where it says sources and find the one for the Bioshock 2 removed content if you guys are interested in checking those out. Next up, we have Siren Alley. So Siren Alley and Pauper's Drop were originally meant to be combined in one level. They would have been one large slum, containing elements like a diner, a church, a brothel, etc. One of the main ideas for this level was that it would have been a film noir style and atmosphere. Eventually, the designers decided that there were too many important elements for one level, so obviously it was then split into 2, the slum being Pauper's Drop and the red light district being Siren Alley. So can you imagine this huge space of Pauper's Drop and Siren Alley combined together? That would be a lot of exploration in game, and you guys know from watching live streams I love exploring, so that would have been cool for me, but with them splitting the 2 into 2 different levels, I think that was for the best. For the number 6 slot, we're going to be talking about one of my top 3 levels within the entirety of the Bioshock series, and that is Dionysus Park. Dionysus Park was first designed as a totally preserved, uncorrupted section of Rapture, untouched by the Civil War. Development was far along before they decided to actually pull the plug and change it to be previously flooded. Removed radio messages revealed that the park was owned by Ava Tate, and that was a character I covered, I believe, in one of the cut characters videos that I've done in the past. She used this space to entertain her followers with extravagant Adam, now called Eden, fueled parties. An early idea was for a doorway out of the art gallery space, which led to an indoor forest. This was an experiment with spatial surrealism that ultimately failed. Dionysus Park was also in one point to be flooded in-game, and the entrance was to be through the atrium of Fort Frolic, which would have been awesome. But ultimately, it was just completely flooded since the events of the original Bioshock. Concept art also exists for a preserved Triton cinema, which would have been showing MGM's The Wizard of Oz at the time of Delta's arrival. There were also ideas about film studios in Dionysus that never made it into the final cut. Stanley Poole would have used the cinema as a hideout and shown Delta film reels of his past life as Johnny Topside. I think from a lore standpoint, that last line would have been amazing just to actually see who Johnny Topside was and who Subject Delta was as a person, but that will remain a mystery for the rest of the series, so it's a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. Oh hey, look, and at number 5, you guys get yet another 2-for-1. I'm feeling really generous today, even though it's the same level. It's Persephone, but there's 2 different versions of it, so keep that in mind. Persephone, at the time dubbed Eden, was meant to look beautiful and maintained. The idea was that once Sophia Lamb took over the facility, she wanted to make her own utopia and wanted everything to be communal. Originally, the structure was meant to have more Art Deco elements to it. The drapery envisioned in this previous concept of the level was later reformatted for the Little Sister's vision. A picture in the Deco Devolution, The Art of Bioshock 2, shows the cafeteria, which was at one point part of the Little Sister's vision as well. Now, let's talk about Inner Persephone, because it also incorporates a part of cut content in terms of characters. So, Little Brother therapy rooms were going to be an Inner Persephone, but the idea of the Little Brothers were cut from the game altogether. The therapy rooms are seen in the games, and they're for the Little Sisters. So again, I still wish there was a thing as a Little Brother. I think that would have added a little bit more to the game, but ultimately, I'm completely okay that they just stuck with the Little Sisters. So let me know what you guys think. And at the number 4 slot is kind of a character that I've talked about in a previous cut content video, but it was ultimately meant to be a level and a cutscene as well, that being the Deep Sea Explorer. Another cut idea was for a deep sea explorer or diver to be sunk down in a bathysphere connected to a boat, more specifically the USS Janney in 1957. While being sunk to the bottom, the sphere suffers some technological issues thanks to the water's pressure. While at the bottom, the diver exits the sphere and starts to walk on the seabed, connected with an air tube to the sphere. When walking, he witnesses a light and is shocked to see the underwater city of Rapture. While watching the city, several torpedoes are launched at the USS Janney. The diver is dragged towards the sphere when the captain of the boat starts to reel it back up. The diver loses control of himself and ends up pulling off the tube and sinking down, with the bathysphere falling after him. The scene ends with the reflection of the diver's eye being seen on a broken piece of glass. This idea might have been how the man who became Subject Delta found Rapture, but it's completely undetermined, and it's kind of an idea that was just thrown up into the air. So I think that would have been a cool cutscene. However, in the context of the game, I'm not quite sure how well that would have worked out. For the number 3 slot, it's only fitting we go to the 3rd game in the series, that being Bioshock Infinite, and that is the dental office from the E3 2011 demo. The Bioshock Infinite E3 2011 gameplay demo, promotional screenshots and concept art shows the dental office of Dr. White, which is kind of ironic, but anyways, which was intended to appear in this level, but was ultimately removed. The business advertised cleanliness and a painless experience. The demo showed a scene where the dentist would be thrown out through a window of the business and then further harassed by Vox Populi. So, it's unneeded, I know, and I definitely don't think it should have been in the game just because it probably would have been a quick 15 to 20 second little interaction. So again, ultimately, I think it was for the best that it was ultimately cut from the game. It had no place in it. It didn't further the storyline. There was no character development. So it was just a little unnecessary, to say the least. So for the number 2 slot, I'm gonna kind of cheat a little bit. It still has to do with cut levels, however, it's more of the difficulty that would change the levels overall. And I'm referring to cut 1999 mode mechanics. When 1999 mode was announced, it was originally stated that the player would have to make choices at the beginning of the game and that said choices would carry throughout the rest of the game. Game files show that the player would have to choose a class, and this class couldn't be changed at all. If you chose the wrong class, you were pretty much screwed and you were stuck with it. These classes would likely limit the gear the player could use, and it's possible that the weapon selection could be affected as well. The classes that could have been chosen from were Melee, Mobility, Soldier, Tank, and Vigor. Game files also indicate that an experience system was to be used with a message saying, "Congratulations, you've leveled up," obviously every time you've leveled up. So there would have been some sort of XP system. Ken Levine is quoted as saying, "This mode is not going to feel like Bioshock. The descriptions make 1999 mode sound similar to that of the System Shock series, which the Bioshock series is a spiritual successor of. There was never an explanation given on why some of the aspects of the overall 1999 mode were removed. I feel that a leveling system would have been good. However, picking the class and kind of getting stuck with that all throughout really would have limited what you could do during your playthrough, along with the increased difficulty. Obviously, there would have been more replayability since I believe you had 5 or 6 different classes, as I mentioned, but ultimately it would have been the same game. You just choose the different class. So I'm okay with them taking that out completely. And who knows how that would have actually affected the levels. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think would happen if those implementations were actually in the game? How much more difficult would 1999 mode be? And how much more difficult would the levels overall be? Like Lady Comstock, the final boss at the end of the game where you have to fight off the Vox and everything else? Let me know. I'm really interested in knowing your guys' responses. And now we're down to our number 1 spot of the video. This is ultimately a level and partly a glitch. If you guys have managed to successfully do the glitch by the time I finish reading the description, please let me know on Twitter by sending me the video if you can record it, or let me know down in the comments. But anyways, we have the Sea of Doors. The endgame, which takes place at the Sea of Doors, a place containing and connecting all realities, was to feature more lighthouses, a representation of all the doors to other realities other than Rapture's and Columbia's. Those places included an Arctic lighthouse, a desert lighthouse, and a space lighthouse, where an observatory, an Arabic-looking tower, and a space station looking very similar to Citadel Station from System Shock would appear. If one manages to access the space lighthouse in the game and approaches it, they will find a small entrance containing a Colombian citizen model. Only untextured models can be found within the game's files, though the observatory can still be found outside the playable area of the Sea of Doors on some snowy mountains with a stone staircase and a wooden bridge between the peaks. These buildings and their doors can be opened as a scripted event, and doing so will start playing snowstorm effects and falling through the map. So that's where the glitch comes in. Personally, I wish I could do this and record this and upload it for you guys, but I don't know how to do this. I don't know which way to go. I don't know which lighthouse to actually go to. That's why I'm asking for your guys' help. If you've managed to find one of these 3 different lighthouses, please let me know. If you have a video, send it to me on Twitter. The link will be in the description. Or if you've done it, let me know down in the comment section below, because I'm very, very interested in seeing what is actually in these lighthouses besides what I just read to you. And if you want to see screenshots of these, again, go down into the description under the sources tab and it'll be there for you. So ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, would you kindly drop a like? It helps the video get out there and it helps the channel grow, and it would mean a tremendous amount. If not, it's completely okay. You can dislike the video. Just let me know what I can do to make the video better for you. If you're not subscribed, or if you want to help the Rapture family grow, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share the video with some family, some friends, or on social media of your choosing. Other than that, if you want to follow me on my social medias, they'll be down in the description below. And if you want to check out some of my most recent videos, they should be popping up on screen now. All you have to do is click on them and it will take you directly to that video. Again, thank you all for all of the recent support, and thank you for watching the video. With that being said, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.